All right, here we go. Hey, everybody, what's up? It's Saturday morning, very early. I know, but guess what? It's a morning gaming podcast. It's Cafe BTW. It's Andy. I would say, aka producer BTW, but my current Twitter is got some interesting things going on. But you can find me on Love Retro BTW, just like my Twitch channel here, which I probably should have done anyway. But as you see down below, we have a guest today, a good buddy of mine, Brandon from Tiltify. And we're going to talk about communities, but Brandon, thanks so much for getting up early on a Saturday and coming on, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I tell Andy all the time, I'm up early every day, so it doesn't matter.
I
You
know,
could catch me at like 5 o'clock, I'd probably be just as awake.
but you got a newborn, so that's probably keeping you up, right? That's
Newborn, toddler, general insomnia, all the above. I mean, it's all fun.
nice. Well, we're going to talk about some, this is going to be a very sort of a little bit skewed different type of show today, I think, but it's going to be a broad conversation. What's up, Biff? Welcome. A broad conversation about, talking about what are communities, how do you build good communities? Because Brandon, I know you've been involved with a lot of that. Before we get into that stuff, though, this is a retro gaming podcast at in its heart. I want to hear what's your relationship with video games from your past that brought you to being really passionate about gaming and also working directly with a lot of gaming influencers and content creators. What's your story?
I should probably unmute, right? Man, it's a long one, but I'll try to shorten it up. So, I got into the digital space back when I started at Maker Studios. I've gamed my whole life, but I wouldn't have necessarily like labeled myself a gamer. Like I took a long break. Started off with Nintendos, went into PlayStations, literally played Tony Hawk until my fingertips were raw. It was kind of ridiculous. But once I kind of got back into the scene, I was working directly with content creators, like basically managing their careers, trying to figure out how they can optimize their presence on YouTube and this new emerging platform called Twitch, which was like,
Wait,
such.
what's Twitch? Oh wait, that's right. We're on it right now.
Yeah. Oh, that, streaming. Yeah, I guess you could do that, but really, like, YouTube was so much the focus back then.
Right, right.
But just getting to see, literally discovering all the genres of, what people watch, what people are interested in. But then, you kind of come back to the fact that it's not even about the games most of the time. It's about the content creators themselves. It's the personalities, it's their connection with their audience. And, it's just the way that, what they say actually matters to the people that are, in the chat, that are interacting and leaving comments, and then accelerating their community by launching merch and doing integrations, all that stuff. So it just blew me away. I mean, the whole YouTube space. I mean, I was going to YouTube to learn how to tie a tie before I went to a wedding or something. I mean, I wasn't ingesting the content like that, and then that opened my eyes up to just literally a whole new world. Now, YouTube, Twitch is usually what I watch the most, and I've seen these communities grow. It's like you got the retro community, you have the first person shooter community, you have the Minecraft community, and nowadays they mesh. They're all, even the bigger first person shooters are going back and playing Minecraft. It's crazy. So
Yeah.
um and yeah, like personally I worked with a lot of those Minecraft influencers back in the day, like I worked with
CNanners?
Stan. No, like Stampy Longnose a bit.
I remember Stampy.
Stacy Plays, Parker Games. The Cube, like the big collective back in the day. All those guys, just amazing what they're doing. Like I always give them credit because people can say, "Oh, wow, these kids are making so much money, playing video games." It's like you have no idea. They're spending hours and hours editing and recording and now going live. Like their time is valuable and their brand is themselves. So being able to see these communities just come together and really make a person a brand, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
um
and I mean, what's your like earliest memories of playing video games? Like, because obviously you're passionate with where it's gone and where it's become. But what game? What's the earliest memory you have of playing a video game, Brandon?
I can remember it's when I got my first Nintendo. God, What year did it launch, Andy? You would know.
1985.
Thank
1985.
you. Yeah, I think it was 85. It was Christmas that year. So my mom somehow got me a Nintendo. And I just remember opening it up, just freaking the smell of the damn thing, you know? And you plug in, I was playing Duck Hunt and Mario for God knows how long, you know, Excite Bike. You know, those are the games I grew up on. So
That
that was my
nostalgia
earliest memory. Yeah,
is
yeah,
amazing. I don't know. And you mentioned the smell, and I do this the new app Clubhouse. I do this retro gaming talks, and last night, believe it or not, someone brought up one of their favorite memories is how things smell. The instruction manuals, all the smells of opening a new game. And he's not wrong, so I'm glad you mentioned smells because that's a cool part of nostalgia when it comes to like old games. And well, yeah. So I do want to talk. What I like to do is before we warm up and get really hard into the topics at hand, I do, Brandon, want to just talk quickly about what you do, obviously, which is going to relate directly to this topic today. And you work for the platform Tiltify, which I want to mention uh, was just announced on what is that list? Fast Companies, right? Which
yeah. Fast Company's most innovative company. You know, we made the list for 2021. It was pretty exciting. So,
that's cool, man.
uh, yeah, I mean, the team has been evolving like crazy the past year and a half. You know, I joined last June. My role is partnerships manager, so I work directly with, you know, any kind of activations that involve, you know, esports, celebrities, but also I'm out there trying to figure out how to, you know, form strategic partnerships with anybody who's looking to support a nonprofit. I mean, there's plenty of brands out there that, you know, want to jump in the gaming influencer space, just don't know how to do it. You know, we try to connect the dots. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities where somebody wants to do something amazing for, say, a stand up to cancer, you know, well, let's figure out how to enhance this for everybody. Let's, you know, if you're willing to, you know, have this be a part of it, let's bring a brand in as a matching partner where first 10,000 raised, hey, another 10,000 is actually gifted by that brand, you know? It's sort of a win-win in all situations because, you know, through Tiltify, we are, I'll kind of go into that. We are a fundraising platform built with the fundraiser in mind. You know, we kind of pioneered the fundraising live space over the past 6-7 years. And,
Yeah, I
you know,
just want to
now,
say I have an example up. I have Jacksepticeye's Hope from Home that he did around the COVID time. And this is directly what you're seeing here is like Tiltify overlays and goal bars that are directly connecting to the event, right, Brandon, to also interact. So just so people can
yep.
understand exactly what you're referencing as well.
Yeah, this is great. Yeah. You know, Hope from Home was one of our bigger events, 2019. And then Jack followed it up with Thankmas last year, which raised over 4 million combined. So,
This guy is an
uh,
anomaly when it comes to philanthropy work. We got to be, it's really incredible, honestly.
yeah, I mean, the thing is, it goes back to what I was talking about community, you know, how
Yeah,
he's built the trust of his community. And
they
I
love
mean,
him.
oh,
Love him.
did I mute myself?
No, I hear you.
Jack
Okay.
is one of those guys I've known for a while, and I can testify he's one of the nicest people I've ever met. It's crazy, you
That's
know. I
cool.
mean,
Yeah.
what you see on camera is what you get, so it's pretty rad. Uh, Man, but what we've been able to do is we've been able to build a platform, you know, basically a product that anybody can go and look up a nonprofit, a cause, you know, any kind of mission. Maybe they have,
Yeah, let me
you know,
pull up Stand Up to Cancer,
perfect.
which I am obviously the gaming community director, as many know from this show. But yeah, this is our cause page on your site, Brandon. And can you go? What is a cause page?
So cause page is basically where you can find a nonprofit on the Tiltify platform. You know, it's we have thousands, we have almost 3,000 charities right now to search from, ranging from children's health to, you know, activism, social justice, you know, COVID relief, all the above. And so if you have a mission in mind that you want to support, you just go to their cause page. Um,
So
Go to Stand Up to
we're
Cancer.
gonna
Yeah,
go to
yeah. Just
Stand Up
pick
to
one.
Cancer. All right.
I think that would be easiest, best point of reference. And it's as easy as clicking on Start Fundraising. And you can create a fundraising account. you can create a campaign that's dedicated to supporting said charity, Stand Up to Cancer, or any nonprofit that's on the platform, and then you go to work. I mean, it's built with a social mind where you can share on all your social platforms. As Andy said, you can use dynamic overlays on your Twitch streams, on your YouTube streams, Facebook Live, with gold bars, and donor alerts. And we actually have a lot more features coming out later this year, which bums the word, but I think it's going to make our fundraising community pretty happy. But really, it's built with like you in mind. If you're out there, you want to fundraise for a nonprofit, we give you the tool sets to make it super easy, and make your fundraiser hopefully a success. I mean, we see on average about uh, roughly about $1,500 being raised per fundraiser on the platform across the board. So pretty successful, I would think. And literally, there's so many little best practices that like Andy and I probably know, but we try to make it as simple as possible to just jump in and support using the community that you built. If they trust you and you really trust a nonprofit and what they're doing, Tiltify is a platform you can utilize and really do some amazing things.
Yeah, and it's really cool to see all the features that you guys provide as well, to like give the streamer the tools they need to make successful campaigns and to do these things correctly. And this is just, if you're not familiar with this, folks, this is just another way of doing good with another medium that's really exploded. And what Brandon's organization does is help bridge that gap, make it easy for the streamer to do that. And yes, I have a lot of experience with Tiltify, and I do look forward to continuing to work with you on a professional level too. And I think this is important because charity streaming in the space is very much connected to communities, and it's what drives a successful stream. And listen, even if a streamer raises $100, I have seen them be as excited as a streamer that raised $100,000. So
Yeah.
I always like to say, like, every bit counts, no matter how big or small your campaign goes, because that's what, like, it's really cool to see the smaller streamers really get excited about that, and that's important. Like, even that little bit means so much to them. And I think that's cool, man. So thanks for helping bridge that gap, and continuing to like experiment in the space and how to explore to make every one of these streams successful in their own right. So
Yeah,
that's really cool, man.
absolutely. But yeah, it's been a fun journey. I mean, I've known about Tiltify for a really long time, and coming from a nonprofit myself, I was actually at Children's Miracle Network
That's
before
right.
coming over.
Extra life
Uh,
work, right?
yeah,
Which
yeah, the Extra Life peer-to-peer program, where when I was there, we raised roughly $17 million for the children of Children's Miracle Network Hospital. So just phenomenal work by that team.
By the way,
Um,
I want to say that my mod here, Genzo, is not only a Stand Up to Cancer mod, but Genzo, you are also a part of the Extra Life community as well.
nice,
So
nice,
he
yeah.
also is a part of one of their communities. I forgot what it is. Put it in chat, Genzo, if I don't remember. But yeah, cool. I forgot to mention that. Yeah, you were with them. And you
Yeah,
guys are doing amazing things for children in hospitals, I would say.
I know. It was so cool. I mean, it's just the community, the guilds across the country, just how passionate they are. They really take up this work. It's all volunteer work, obviously, and they just are so passionate and will go the extra mile every single year. And I mean, that's why that program scaled so much. It's insane.
Cool. So Genzo said he's VP of Extra Life Newark, which I'm from Jersey. That's what, AKA Brick City. So he's the VP of
Nice.
Extra Life Newark Guild in New Jersey. Nice,
Yeah, I mean,
Genzo.
these guilds work directly with the hospitals. It's a pretty phenomenal relationship. They'll throw events, and this is all, like I keep stressing, this is all in their free time. So good on you, man. Good on you.
Yeah. And thank you so much, Guppy Fish, for the follow. I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay. Before we get into more communities, we're going to talk about some just basic broad stuff. So, as you know, Brandon, if you see my social media, it's BTW all over the place, right?
Is
So
it? Is that still what it is?
it
I'm
is.
sorry, Twitter isn't being so nice to you. So
Well, they haven't been nice to me, but my Instagram is BTW, my Twitch has a BTW, my TikTok does, but we'll get into the Twitter. Don't worry, I got that on this list. But what I wanted to showcase here is Pokimane a few days ago or maybe it was a week ago, tweeted streamer by the way, and then I think she did single by the way. But all I'm doing is that, you know, it's not about her here. It's about the BTW and how the BTW, I am not going to take credit for it, but a long time ago, and I don't know if I've ever told this story. I just wanted to quickly mention it. Do you know what Ice Poseidon is, Brandon?
I know. Yeah, yeah, I do.
So I was shooting, this was when I was working for this startup that was doing gaming centric content. It was E3 2017. And we were doing a docu-follow of Ice Poseidon because back then, I don't know if you remember, there was a big boom with IRL streamers, Brandon. Remember where like
Yeah,
IRL streaming was like this big deal on Twitch and stuff? He was
like
like
nonstop is insane.
yeah, and he was the OG. And so we're following him, shooting up docu-follow while he's live on his, I think he was on a YouTube actually, and because he had been banned from Twitch at the time, and he had like 30,000 people watching as he was running around E3, and we were shooting him, and like there was a moment where like he couldn't get into the Spider-Man game at Sony, he was trying to get in, and he's like, "Hey, producer." Because I was the one running around producing on those other cameras. He's like, "Hey, producer, can you come here?" And he looks at this camera and he points at me and he goes, "Hey, this is the producer, by the way." And then the next morning, there was a meme of me that said "producer, by the way" all over his Reddit, and they're like, "By the way, the worst producer in LA." They were like making fun of me just because of that, and
Oh my god.
and it was the funniest thing. And I was like, Brandon, I was like, holy shit, his community is pretty toxic at the time, by the way.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, my face is all over the internet. They're like making fun of me. They're like, all I did was say I'm the producer, by the way, and like the world blew up. So, long story short, one of my friends was like, Andy, just like own it, like change your handle. So his community started doing BTW as like a normal terminology in his community. And I have some friends too that attest to this. I want to say that there's some connection to the BTW in gaming because I see that after I did that, there's people I've seen that go like say their name and then BTW, and I don't know if that has to do with me. And I'm not being, I just think it's a fun story, and I hope that Pokimane, the fact that now it's gotten to as far as Pokimane using the BTW, I'm really happy. So how does that sound, Brandon? It's come full circle now.
I mean, it stands for by the way, right?
Of
I mean,
course.
I think it's funny. I will.
I don't own BTW. I don't own
I
it.
think you should put in like a patent, for it. You should just try to get it trademarked. This should be stamped upon, your life from now on. If you get named by that kind of influencer, good or bad, I mean, it's gonna stick. You got some virality out of it.
Yeah, Biff said, or Genzo said, BTW is the new AKA. Cool story, no fear. And then Biff says NFT BTW. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh boy, NFTs, man. That's like literally on everybody's the tip of their tongues these days.
Brandon, one word I want to throw at you. I want your opinion. Roblox. Thoughts on the IPO of Roblox being in valuation of $45 billion, Brandon? What is that? What's your response to that? I just want to hear, because that's such a big deal right now in gaming. And before we get into our thing, this is the kind of, I go over some news sometimes. So obviously we had this freaking news. What do you think of this? It's crazy.
I mean, kids love it, man. What can you do? I mean, that was a like secret we always tried to crack when I was working at MCN, was like, what is the most profitable content? It's children's content, always children's games. I mean, the more accessibility, the better it's going to do. And Roblox has done amazing stuff with their community. I mean, I think even more than, I don't want to talk anything bad about Minecraft, but I think they're more open to working with the community and listening to the community and doing more custom stuff within their partner program. So it all worked out. I mean, I have never played myself, but definitely it's been on my radar. I used to manage a lot of Roblox creators, so
It's crazy to me.
insane.
So the story,
Yeah.
my connection to Roblox is that I was beta testing Minecraft, and I remember it only was a few. So one thing people should know is that it's actually a pretty old game now. It's been around for a long
Hmm.
time. So a few months after I think the Minecraft beta came out, or at least it's when I noticed this game comes out and it looks like a Minecraft clone, but it looks more Lego-y. And that's when I discovered, I was like, what is this? So I actually played Roblox back in like 2011 or 12, whenever that was, whenever Minecraft beta was out. And I was like, what the hell is this? And I was so certain this was going to be just a clone of Minecraft and it wouldn't be successful. And man, was I wrong. Like, for it's just blowing my mind. I am actually very interested in investing in the stock. I'm not a stock guy, but I would be interested in like looking into it more because I think this is like just a perfect example of showing people like where video games are going and how much money is flying around and investment is happening. It is like unprecedented stuff.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
this is their evaluation's bigger than EA now and Ubisoft. Like, like what does that tell you? I mean, this attributes to our topic today. Like you said, they just have a great community.
Hmm.
And they do a lot of things right. Jenza says, I haven't seen this charts, but I heard that Roblox dropped below IPO. I mean, sure, it's going to probably fluctuate a lot for its first release. Um, but anyway, we'll see what happens with Roblox, but I just wanted to mention it and bring up that topic. But I have a fun little experiment here, Brandon. And we're going to talk about building communities and how you do it correctly, right? And that's where I want to start on the whole gaming community. And this really could be broad and represent all types of communities that you're creating, right? So I found this article by positivepsychology.com called 10 Traits of Positive Communities, right? So I'm going to just list them and we're just going to like riff and see what we think they mean or what they mean to you in doing this. So obviously number 1 for them is having a common goal. And obviously Brandon, having a common goal in community is very important. And why do you think that is?
Oh, you got to have that group think to kind of connect with everybody around you. I mean, you have to have some commonality, to even build a community. Why else are you all coming together?
How about number 2, freedom of expression?
Well, yeah. I mean, you start tapping down people. Obviously get rid of the toxic people. You don't want toxic people in your community regardless. It just will bring everybody down. But, make sure everybody has a voice and is listened to. That just builds stronger community.
And then address member concerns with sensitivity. And I think this is very accurate so far, the first 3 of them. Very important parts. I think it's just giving a voice to the audience, continuing the voice where they can tell suggestions or concerns that maybe someone's bothering them in their community, giving the community the power to tell you that something's wrong, right? That's important.
Yeah.
Unlike Twitter, who doesn't look at their support tickets for me. I'm gonna get into that though, because that's something connected
The
to
Autobots.
the
The
Autobot.
Autobot gotcha.
It was an algorithm, I know. It's not like a human was like taking me down. Number 4, Brandon, is set clear policies and obligations. So rules, I guess, right? Like
Yep.
every Discord community should have rules, right? What is the importance of setting rules and guidelines for a community?
Well, I mean, you have to. You have to at least put a foot down for, the things that really matter to you. I mean, if I would have to say, like, put the foot down, no racism, no, basically anything that could be positive is welcomed. Anything that's negative, get it out of there. Open for discussions. I think discussions are great. Never shut somebody out from trying to think differently, but always make sure you put your foot down to make sure that no toxicity seeps into your community because it'll just fester. It's just gross.
Yeah. Okay. So and then another number 5 is fairness. Is I guess they mean like being fair to your community, that everyone has an opportunity. There's no. But then what's interesting is Discord has roles, right?
Hmm.
So, but I think that it's used in a very positive way. But I always have a problem with like the element of the verification and the badges that separate people. And I think that there's like 2 sides to the community coin when it comes to that. I feel like what Clubhouse, and as you know, Brandon, I've been like kind of experimenting on Clubhouse and having a good time on there. Clubhouse doesn't have a verified feature. The only separation is when you run a room, you're just a moderator and you have the moderator tag, which means you're just controlling the room. But there's no, that's what I love about Clubhouse is that you can have a small following and be noticed. But what do you think of that? What do you think of the separation where there's roles set up in Discord communities where obviously it could be used for positive, but do you think there's actually a chance that it could be a problem for a community when you start putting badges on people and stuff like that, or you think it's an incentive?
I think it's, I mean, I think you have to like strive to, you want to be more involved to get that, validation by whoever's running the community. So if you're putting more work in, and you're being a positive influence to the community, you deserve it. But if you're somebody who just stops in every once in a while, doesn't really do too much, maybe comments once a month, you're probably not going to have, any kind of, elevated title. But I mean, it goes back to being verified on any platform, right? It's the cool kids club in some senses. So, just, I guess just don't single people out. If people deserve it, hey, like, make them a mod, make them, a manager, give them that status, give them the extra badge, but don't let don't play favorites, I guess, if they
Yeah.
don't deserve it. Your community will pick up and they won't respond well. I can only imagine.
I think there's positivity uses for it. I mean, I have a stand up to cancer Discord and we have, like if you're a part of our Twitch team, you obviously get the tag, and I think that's it's fairness. It's like anyone can join the team, you just have to make the effort to, and then we give you the tag, that's all it
Yeah.
is. It's just ask me you want to be part of it.
I mean, you can make it fair by just, I hate saying it, but putting it behind a paywall, right? That's
I
usually how it works.
that's true too. Yeah, it's interesting. And then I mean, I love this list when I was looking through it, and I've seen it. I've definitely like looked at it before, but like number 6 is celebrate heritage and traditions, which I think is like whenever you have a community, you see on Twitter like today is National Health Awareness Day. We're celebrating this. Like I think that when a community kind of like looks at like any public awareness holiday or whatever, you think that's important, Brandon, always to connect your community to like the outside like events and stuff like that?
It just keeps the positivity rolling, right? I mean, there's always something to celebrate. There's too much negativity in the world. We could celebrate like National Hot Dog Day or National Donuts Day. Why not? It's nice. It's fun. People can be funny, throw emojis, gifs, whatever in the chat. I mean, that definitely builds more rapport with your community. So yeah, I think it's good.
Promote interaction among members. That's a given. That's engagement, interaction, right? Man, they're hitting
Yeah,
all the points. What do you think of this list so far?
it's a good
It's
list.
a
I
good
mean,
list.
yeah, they're definitely hitting all the notes here. I mean, some of it though, it's more common sense than you think.
Yeah, you're
But
right. It is.
uh, like when it's easier said than done too, right? I mean, you could be as inclusive as possible and still have like zero followers. Sometimes it always doesn't follow you. You got to put the work in.
That's true. And the last 3 here, we'll get through here real quick. Elect leaders that stand by community values. Obviously, like you have your admins, your moderators, your leaders, your people, the community members that even get promoted to those positions and stuff like that. So we know that that's always important, and you can't have a good community, right, unless you have a good leaders. So that's also
Yeah,
important because not everyone's built to be leaders of communities, but you could be part of communities, and takes a certain person to be one that wants to do like what Genzo he puts his efforts into helping me personally with Stamp to Cancer's Discord or working with Extra Life. So it's a good example.
yeah.
Genzo says, I'm totally untrusted. No idea why people are giving me power. uh,
Whoopsie,
whoopsie.
whoopsie.
Chicken mods half of Twitch. I think he's a bot. Yes, actually, Genzo Chicken does moderate tons of Twitch channels, including our show here. Number 9, prioritize effective communication. I mean, I guess we're all that's like a given. Uh, and how do you prioritize effective communication, Brandon?
Ugh,
That's a weird.
I
That's
don't
a
know. I mean, it's so hard because I mean, you're trying to focus on talking to the camera for the most part. I always applaud more interaction with the chat. Wait, no, what did No Fear say? Criken mods half of Twitch. I think he's a bot.
Yeah.
um, sorry, I was just topping in the chat too.
Yeah, of
I think,
course.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, most of the discords I see, the person who the discord is for doesn't interact as much as they even should. Like it's mostly their mods, it's mostly people who are running it, and like I actually jumped into a comedian's discord community, and like I never see him interact with fans. I just see a lot more of the mods for the comedian, and
Right.
you can tell that it's not in his voice at all. It may be in his name sometimes, but it's just somebody who's kind of taken over his account. So do your best to. I mean, Andy, you're running a community. I mean, how much do you communicate with your fellow compatriots here?
Every day I try to interact with my community as best I can, and that might even just be saying good morning in the general chat in the Discord, right? Like
Yeah.
showing my presence and that like I'm always around and whatever. I sometimes post tweets or links, or we have like a what are you playing channel that I like to say, hey, what's everyone playing now? So yeah, I try to engage with my community as much as I can. But I don't force anything. So there's times where the Discord might be quiet, and that's fine too. I don't need to be like constantly poking, but I feel like I do a good balance. I think balance is the right way to say it. You know.
Yeah.
And then I guess that brings us to 10, making smart decisions. Yeah,
Mm.
I, I I think that's important because there's times when someone puts a borderline message in the Discord and you have to talk over with your mods and say, what do you guys think of this? Do you think we should ban them? Do you think this was appropriate? And I think that there's moments where you have those borderline community moments where you got to talk about, was what this person did something bad, or should we kind of let it go this time? You know what I mean? Like there's and the fact that I can lean on my mods is really cool. I
Yeah.
could like bring it up to them because in Discord we have the private mod channel, which I think is incredible. So you have this like private channel that you could be communicating in that no one sees but you and the mods and stuff.
Oh,
Um,
see, I didn't know. See, I'm not that savvy
oh,
on
really?
Discord. I guess I didn't know you had that.
Yeah. Every Discord has like a private moderator channel that you can create or you should create. And you just chat and then Discord, when they do updates, they drop in your community Discord automatically into your moderator channel. This is for public Discords, by the way, which you can only get if you're like an organization or like a partnered account. So I was able to get
Watch,
stamped.
my community team's probably like, we know that. Don't say that.
So I was able to get Stamp to Cancer's Discord like partnered so that we could be a community public Discord, which is great for me. It was great for
Yeah.
building the community, right? So I made sure to find that so that I could find a public avenue for people that use Discord to find Stamped Cancer, and that's a good example of how I utilized a smart decision to strengthen my community or try to build it, I guess.
No,
Um,
absolutely.
so moving on, that was really cool. I do want to talk about Brandon. What do you think are some of the best video game based communities? And I have some examples just to kind of kick it off. Like, I don't know. I'm surprised they put Warzone here, because Warzone's a very mixed bag. But I guess there is a positive side to Warzone. Minecraft, obviously, Brandon has got positive communities. Pokemon definitely has a positive community.
Yeah.
Animal Crossing for sure. We could also jump into Stardew Valley. There's a lot of those games. Overwatch, I'd say, has its own pretty good community, I would say, but NBA 2K has a good community. World of Warcraft Classic, in specifically this article called out. I guess so. Yes, Fire Emblem, sure. But are there any that stick out to you from like a video game perspective in their community? Is there any that stick out?
Oh man. Um, a lot that were on my radar back in the day were like Five Nights at Freddy's community, like the horror game genre community. Just people just want to get on camera and get the ever loving crap scared out of them. It's hilarious. I don't even know if there's a particular game. I guess Five Nights is kind of the flagship, and then it goes down from there.
Oh man.
Phasmophobia, everybody's been playing lately. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think there's the variety game community. I wouldn't even put it on one game. Like the people who pick different games all the time. I think are my favorites because they have a very robust, like, people. They have a ton of people in their community who just like everything, and then uh, it kind of goes back to that community interaction, because then suggestions will then be implemented in their next gameplay. So that could definitely influence a lot of why people are watching, because they actually have a say in getting to see their favorite streamer up on camera doing what they want to do.
Yeah, no, totally. Let's see. Biff said, "How about that comedy night community?" I'm not going down that rabbit hole.
Comedy night community? Is there something I should know?
So on, I'm not going down this rabbit hole, but maybe. So Brandon, you know how I do retro gaming talks on Clubhouse? It's like, kind of a community talk about that. So there was a
Yeah.
game on Steam. It's $5, and it's called Comedy Night. And it's literally like a stand-up comedy type game. And I'll just pull it up here so you can see. So you like get on stage, people can talk to each other, and someone can go on stage and do like a stand-up routine. But I turned it into a community, like we would do video game chat, we called it, and we would talk on stage. But it was the most toxic, racist, anti-Semitic, horrible game
Oh
because
no.
it was full of like voice trolls. It was terrible, and I was just trying to have it, but I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but I tried to keep like I was banning people left and right. I tried to keep it as clean as possible, but it was tough. But actually, Legendary Evie says Destiny has a good community,
Yeah,
and I will say
that's
that.
true.
I will say
Yeah,
that
Destiny's huge.
Destiny has a
Halo community. I have some friends that are in the Halo community still. I mean, when Infinite comes out, hopefully they start getting more views. I mean, I miss Halo. That was the one first person shooter I actually got into back in the day.
yeah. Now we're gonna talk about the scary side, in my opinion, and there's a lot of levels here. So what's your take on how communities handle bans? And this could be an organization that has like a member banned or locked out of an account, like me on Twitter. And as you can see here, I'm locked out, but not because I really did anything or said anything wrong. I just unfortunately used copyright music 2 or 3 years ago on a tweet. But Brandon, is it fair to, like, when someone doesn't do anything that you think is really like criminal or says anything terrible or harmful, that they get locked out of their account? Like me, is that fair to me, you think? Is that fair to be locked out that way by an algorithm?
No, no. I mean, we've seen it time and time again. I mean, we used to go through YouTube purges all the time, where hundreds or thousands of videos were taken down for a DMCA strike, out of nowhere. And so, I mean, I don't think it's fair. I think you have, the right to obviously appeal, which I hope you're doing.
Oh yeah, I've been
But
appealing. Me and Twitter have been talking. I've been talking to one side actually, just me, just sending letters.
yeah, I mean, what sucks is there's always that fine print that the platforms can always lean on and say, well, it says right here on page 152, line 25, that if you did this, then we have the right to axe your channel. But I don't know. Grand scheme of things, no, I don't think it's right. It stinks, and after building such a strong community, it's just heartbreaking, man. It's like it's hard
That's
to recover, but I don't know.
and that's the final thought there because how being banned, like for me, in a single swoop, my retro community on Twitter, which the retro shout out to the retro gaming community on Twitter, which is really a very powerful, positive community. Honestly, there's no negativity there except for maybe arguing that they might not like a game versus the other. That is not toxic when you argue about like, oh, I didn't really like the game, but you did, Um,
Yeah.
I asked a couple of people on Twitter, and they answered, "Why do they love the retro gaming community?" One person, project said, "Just chit chatting about obscurities and forming a bit of a circle of friends around it." And then Rat's House of Retro said, "Shared memories and just the overall love for good games." And that's a positive community, right? That has all the inner linings. And for me, unfortunately, in one fell swoop, my whole community was wiped out. But what's really cool, Brandon, to show strength of community, like when I made my new Twitter, which is Love Retro BTW, like my community followed, like people were, and I'll show you, like people were quoting, talking to Twitter, telling them like, hey, Andy, you know, he's a positive force on Twitter. And that alone has helped me get through the suspension, that my community had come over
Yeah.
to my new one. So that shows strength in community for me. And I think that's been like the biggest learning I'm getting from this. So it's been pretty interesting. So really appreciate the support out there. Yeah, you know, one day I really do think I'm gonna get my Twitter back. Honestly, I really do. I think I'm gonna get it back. And
Yeah.
I'm thinking
I
about
hope so.
that tweet. I'm thinking about my return tweet, and it's gonna happen. Um,
It's
but
just gonna be BTW.
this is gonna be BTW. I wonder if someone has that handle. I'm sure they do. Um, well, Brandon, any final thoughts of anything about community? As we kind of get towards the back end of the show, is there anything that we missed or anything important to mention about like building communities and the right ways to approach it, or any like
It's
yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think really it sounds so generic, but be as organic as possible. Be yourself. Stand up for what you believe in, and I think that's what gravitates people towards you. That's what really makes people want to watch and want to participate in more conversation. So the more you could be genuine, the better I think your community will be. It'll reflect and you'll attract positivity. So
That's
I think that's
awesome.
a good way to end it.
Well, we're gonna give away a game today, Brandon. We always do. The game today that we're giving away is called A Hat in Time. And I have a Steam code. I have no idea what this game is about. I'm sorry, folks. I give out random games. That's right. But it looks fun. No idea. I can't tell you. It looks like kind of like some weird mix between Psychonauts and Pokemon. Actually, it looks pretty cool, to be honest with you. Oh, it looks.
I was
Oh,
playing Disney Rush last night. Disney Pixar's Rush because my kid loves it. It
oh,
looks a lot
really?
like that. Yeah. Game Pass game. Game Pass is great, by the way.
I have Game Pass. I gotta start downloading all those games. Um, and then, of course, I'm gonna give a Cafe BTW NFT away with this game as well. And we're gonna just do the simple. I don't know if there's enough people here, but we'll try. Let's see here. If you guys want to put exclamation point BTW in chat, I'm gonna give away this game. So to join, we're just gonna do a chat giveaway. If you want to join, it's exclamation point BTW. Um, uh, if anyone wants a game, if not, then I'm not gonna give it away. All right, there we go. All right, all right, we got a few. I think I'm doing it right. By the way, I'm kind
There's
of
a couple. I see them coming.
I'm kind of a noob to this giveaway thing, so we'll see if I did this right. Um, let's see. Explanation point BTW in chat. I think you have to got everyone. It has to be the uppercase BTW if you want to enter. Sorry about that. Uppercase exclamation point BTW. It's very what's it called? What do you call it? It. You have to uppercase it. I don't know what the word is. Terminology. All right. Cool. Cap sensitive. Thank you. How did I just forget that? That's how you explain that whole thing. Today's NFT. Let's see. And remember exclamation point BTW. And I think we'll give away. Nope. Let's see which one we're gonna give away. We're gonna give away the landscape art. And shout out to Daniel Napoli who created a lot of these designs. But I'm gonna give out that one. I believe this one right here. It's a beautiful silhouette of me drinking coffee. So I think I did this right. Let me see. Oh my God, Biff wins all the time. So congratulations, Biff. Uh, you won another NFT in a game, and I don't know if you had this game. I think in chat you put that. If you do have this game, I do have another game to give you. And then Biff redeemed, I'll tell you a childhood story. Oh my God, no one's redeemed that before. Okay, I got a good story. Ready? So I was very young and I was going through potty training. And I very much remember this. And when you're potty training, you're very young. I forgot how old you are. but I still vividly remember this. We went to Disney World in Florida when I was a little young kid, and the reason I'm telling this story because it relates to potty training and an arcade. And my whole life, I never saw my dad interested in video games in my entire life, but in this moment, he was playing. There was an arcade on Main Street in the original Disney World, and all I remember is my dad was playing Donkey Kong in their arcade. And that day and that morning, you see, the problem was is that I was having a problem potty training, and I remember my dad goes to me, "If you poop in your pants, I'm gonna be pissed. Do not poop in your pants today when we go to Disney World." And I'm like, I still remember him like pointing at me and saying that, right? So we get to the arcade, and I remember I pooped my pants. And I was so upset that I like went into my, like as a kid, I went into my butt, I grabbed the poop in my hand, and I
Oh
remember
no.
remember my dad was playing Donkey Kong. I still remember the image of it, and I walked up to him and I was like, "Dad, I'm sorry, I pooped my pants." And he goes, "Oh my God, what are you doing? Get over here. We gotta go to the bathroom. What are you holding your poop for?" So just a vivid childhood memory of me handing my poop to my dad while he was playing Donkey Kong in Disney World. Is that good enough, Biff? Thanks for redeeming the 10,000 channel points for my childhood story. Appreciate
That's
it.
brutal. That is brutal.
Yeah, it was funny though. I always think of it as like just a connection to. Oh my God, I have to tell another one. Okay, no fear. Just redeem 10,000 channel points. Oh my God. Another childhood story. Blah, 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 blah. Let me think. Let me think. Um, so my dad, and my mom got divorced, right? And my dad, had a new girlfriend later and eventually became my stepmother. But I remember that I was like very much that kid of divorce, teenager, where I didn't really want to get along with any of my dad's new, relationships and stuff. And I was just kind of like that. And then, my dad had to sit me down, me and my brother. He's like, "Listen, Dee, who's my stepmom, and I love her. Shout out to you, Dee. He's like, listen, she's gonna move in, guys." And I was like, and dad, and this sounds so weird, but he's like, I was so upset about it. I was like, really? And he's like, "Listen, I'll buy you a new console or something. What do you want?" And I was like, "You're gonna buy me a new console?" And I said, "The Sega Saturn." And I said, and back then, Brandon, the Sega Saturn was overpriced. It was like $400 in 1995.
Oof.
So you can imagine that was expensive, but I still remember the reason I was able to get the Sega Saturn was terrible guilt as a teenage kid.
You got to go big in that
Got to go
situation, you
big
know?
in that situation. And I still remember my dad not realizing it was $400 until he got to the register at and there was a store called The Wiz in New York, New Jersey and it was like Best Buy back in the day, and their slogan was "Nobody beats the Wiz." I don't know if anyone has ever heard of this place. Joe
Is
Namath.
that like, was that a joke on Seinfeld?
Yeah, it was. It was because it
Okay.
was a famous local electronics store that did Joe Namath commercials, and he would go, "Nobody beats the Wiz." So yeah, the Wiz. Oh yeah, the Wiz episode. Yep, that was
Yep.
all based on that whole store, man. Which is kind of
Amazing.
good callback.
Amazing.
Wow. But yeah. So anyone else want to redeem channel points before we go? Because I can keep going down stories, but I appreciate you guys finally redeeming those. Let's find someone to raid. And Brandon, where can we actually before we as I'm looking for someone to raid, can you tell us like where can we find you? Anything you'd like to share about what you're doing? I also really appreciate you coming on today. I thought it was a really fun episode, really different too, and really cool. So appreciate
Yeah,
it.
no, I appreciate it. Let's see. I guess I'll promote myself on Twitter. It's the only place I post more than a few things. So at Nightman620, same as what you see in the chat. Um, and I'd like to also promote I'm always about, fundraisers out there and events and lots of cool stuff happening on Tiltify. If there's any fans of the show Raising Hope, they're actually doing a reunion today on YouTube on the A is 4 channel. I don't know if that's going to be hard to find, but type in Raising Hope, live stream, you'll find it.
Oh,
But
nice. That sounds cool.
Yeah, they're going to be doing tribute to Cloris Leachman, who passed away, who was on the show,
Hmm.
and so they've already raised over $7,000, and they haven't
Oh,
even started
crazy.
yet. So they should have some cool giveaways, and highly suggest you guys watch it.
That's awesome. Thank you, dude. Awesome. Yeah, Brandon does great work, everyone. So check out what Tiltify does. I believe. What's your Tiltify Twitter? I forget what the Tiltify handle is. Do you
I
know?
think we're just at Tiltify.
We
Yeah,
are
we
Tiltify at we
yeah
are.
we are. So why didn't I say we are Tiltify? I we actually just got verified, so
Nice.
that was pretty exciting.
That's cool. All right, cool. Thank you so much, Brandon. Actually, in honor of Tiltify, we're gonna raid a favorite supporter of Stand Up Cancer. She's Show Tiger. She did a month long charity event using Tiltify as well for Stand Up to Cancer, and she did a 24-hour stream that ended, and she also did this really cool stream we did on International Women's Day with just a few other streamers that just like kind of did their own Among Us stream. So let's give her some love. She's awesome. Check her out. And Brandon, wait, did I do that? I did that so wrong. Hold on. Sorry, guys.
Bravo. See, I'm surprised, Andy. You didn't even recognize the retro hat I wore today.
Oh, what is it? Oh, I'm sorry.
So it's not completely retro, but Travis Scott did a play on that Super Nintendo logo.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
a
that's so cool.
big fan. I actually got my minis right here on my desk, so I don't know if you can see that. I got the
Oh,
NES
no.
and I got the Super NES.
Oh, we didn't get to see that. That's awesome, man. Dude.
Yeah, I have my kid playing StarCraft or Star Fox, excuse me, every morning now. He walks into my room, he wants to play the flying game, so
Oh,
I'm
dude, that's great.
trying to get him started like in the right direction.
That's great, man. Yeah, no, you're a huge gamer, and I appreciate it. And I know we didn't go too deep into retro gaming, but we went deep into community building, which is cool.
Now that's more important, I think, especially for what we do, right?
Yeah, yeah, no, and I haven't been able to really dive into it as much during one of my shows because we're always so knee deep in retro gaming. But it all ties back because I'm part of the retro gaming community, and this podcast is also kind of a part of that community. So, yeah, thanks everyone, Biff, Genzo, No Fear, and everyone that checked out. And remember, if you're watching on VOD, thank you so much as well. We'll be back next Saturday. We're gonna raid Show Tiger. She's awesome. Let's stop by and give her some love. I know some of you in my chat know all about her. So let's give her some love. And Brandon, thanks, man. Have a
Anytime.
good weekend.
Yeah, you too, man.
All right, here we go. Raid.